Yo, what is going on, Headliner Nation? Kyle back with the Fantasy Headliners wide receiver and tight end rankings for you in this episode for week 5 of the NFL season. Hey, don't forget though, if you are not a member already, I've been getting this question a lot over the last couple of weeks. Can you guys do flex rankings? We do, as member-only video. So on Thursdays, we post our flex rankings, our kicker rankings, and our defensive special team rankings. So if you're needing even more information than what you're getting right now, for as little as $5 a month, you can become a member and you get all of those extra rankings, plus film review studies and Sunday morning live shows. And we do some giveaways over in our Discord as well. So make sure you hit that join button down below. If you're not able to right now, that's absolutely okay. At least hit the subscribe button and hit the like button as well. That's free and easy to do, and it always helps out the video. So ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and hop into it. Let's talk about our wide receivers first. Cooper Kupp, obviously, Stephon Diggs, boom. Justin Jefferson at the top of the rankings. We're going to continue to put these guys here every single week. There's not really much to break down for them, is there? Devontae Adams at number 4. Not a great game a couple of weeks ago. He bounced back with a nice volume game last week. We need him in the end zone, though. A.J. Brown going up against Arizona. This is going to be a really nice matchup for A.J. Brown. I like the potential for him and Devontae Smith this week. Jamar Chase going up against Baltimore. The reason we're lowering Chase a little bit, and I think you all can agree T. Higgins is balling right now, and I told you all at the beginning of the season, that is something that would happen. You're going to have these weeks where Jamar Chase will get his, T. Higgins will get his. It'll go back and forth a little bit. It lowers the ceiling a little bit for Jamar Chase. But big play potential against an inconsistent defense is still there. Tyreek Hill at number 7. We're not going to drop him too much. It is a difficult matchup. Obviously, the New York Jets, secondary is a good secondary. But we're not going to move him too much. Even with Teddy B, he's a dynamic playmaker. We saw that last week. Deebo Samuel at number 8. Was good to see a huge game from him on Monday Night Football. Congratulations to him for finally here in 2022 having that big breakout game. Mike Evans going up against Atlanta. Atlanta has been very under the radar good for their defense this year. I think Mike Evans is a guy that would have a little bit of a higher ceiling if it was somebody else, but Atlanta has been pretty good. So we're going to be cautious with that ceiling this week. CeeDee Lamb going up against the Los Angeles Rams, getting peppered with lots of targets right now. Absolutely love to see it. T. Higgins, again, really high ceiling for him and Jamar Chase both right now, both of them inside the top 12. Jalen Waddle's going to be at number 12 for me. Again, tough matchup. The ceiling isn't going to be as high as we would like, given it's a New York Jets secondary, and it's going to be Teddy Bridgewater. But this is a team that knows how to construct their offense around their best weapons. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are those guys. They're going to find ways to get the balls in the hands of those guys, even if it means constructing, moving things around a little bit. Maybe the ceiling falls down just a little bit because maybe it's like Waddle last year where we're getting little dump-off passes. Maybe not huge plays, but the volume is there. It could be the same thing moving forward with Teddy Bridgewater. At number 13, going into our wide receiver 2s, Courtland Sutton against Indianapolis on Thursday night. Courtland Sutton still, him and Judy are, both back and forth, kind of the main 1A, 1B in this offense right now, but it was good to see them at least perform a little bit better last week. Christian Kirk at number 14 going up against Houston. He finally had a down game this past week, and by down game, I still mean a good game. He's an absolute baller right now. Mike Williams at number 15. Going up against Cleveland. Would like to go a little bit higher with him. It does sound like Keenan Allen is going to be out again this week, and because of that, Mike Williams could end up going just a little bit higher. There's a possibility that I also put him in maybe above a Courtland Sutton or maybe above a Jalen Waddle. DK Metcalf at number 16. Geno Smith off to an historic quarterback start this year. DK Metcalf, again, getting lots of targets. It is a tougher matchup, so don't expect what we saw against Detroit last week, but they are throwing the ball and throwing the ball often. Chris Olave on the other side of the ball in this matchup. He's become really kind of the wide receiver 1 in that offense. Michael Thomas right now dealing with a turf toe injury. Didn't practice so far this week. Right now, I would expect him to miss. Chris Godwin at number 18. I need to clarify something here with everybody from my start and sit video, because after I saw a couple of comments and I went back and listened to it, definitely could understand why there was some confusion. I made the comment about working Chris Godwin back. And a lot of you were like, did you not see his target share? Did you not know? I saw all of it. I understand how many snaps he played, how many routes he ran, and how many targets he had last week. What I meant by that was a concern like we saw earlier in the season where Chris Godwin works his way back and then re-hurts himself. So that's why in the start sit video, I made the comment about as he works his way back and as they ease him back into it. I wouldn't say ease was the best use of words there, and probably why some of you were confused by what I said. But with Chris Godwin, with me, it's just a, hey, I want to be careful with him because I want to make sure that he is 100%. We've talked about it on this show before, where when you tear like an ACL, your hamstring is weak in the year afterwards. And we already saw that as an issue. We don't want that to happen again. Now, was he a start for me in the video? He's not listed as a start because based on the score that we put out, I can't give him enough points, and I'm not going to fudge the numbers just to list him as a start. That would be a disservice to all of you based on the formula that we have built so far. However, like I have done in the past with a couple of guys, I've said, yes, it says that he's a sit, but it doesn't matter. I would play him regardless. Maybe that message wasn't conveyed to you in the start and sit video, and I apologize. He comes in at number 18 for me. Atlanta's defense, again, is a tougher defense. Their secondary has played well this year. He's still going to be a start for me. He is a low end start because, again, just making sure that, hey, he's not coming off a big week. He comes in this week and now all of a sudden he hurts himself again, or they have to limit him because he gets a little bit sore. We're being careful with that. Also, the upside just a little bit down as well. So hopefully that clarified a lot of that confusion for you. Devontae Smith at number 19. Really like him again against Arizona this week. Great matchup for him. Marquise Brown against Philadelphia. Would like to go higher with him, but Philadelphia probably going to see a little Darius Slay this week. Could end up limiting that upside a little bit. Michael Pittman Jr., the offense isn't functioning as much as we would like it to right now, or as well as we would like it to right now. And because of that, we've gone a little bit lower, going up against a Denver defense that has been fantastic, allowing the fewest amount of fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Amari Cooper coming in at number 22. A little bit of a down week last week after a couple of big weeks, which means we're just going to have another big week this week. Drake London at number 23, tough matchup against Tampa Bay. He is a guy that getting some targets, not really doing a whole lot with the targets right now. Not his fault, though. Not his fault. Tougher matchup for him. Tampa Bay, one of the better teams against wide receivers right now. I'm going to have to be careful with Drake London this week. Romeo Doubs going up against the New York Giants Sunday morning. Over across the pond. Make sure that you pay attention to your lineups the night before so we don't run into an Alvin Kamara issue. I like his chance for upside this week. I like his chance to score this week. The one thing that limits him and makes him a little bit more of a low wide receiver too for me is the fact of how much they're still spreading the ball around right now. He's the wide receiver one in that offense, though. Well, heading into the wide receiver threes, Deontay Johnson at Buffalo. Excited to see maybe a step up for him with Kenny Pickett, but it is a very tough matchup against the Bills. Brandon Cooks going up against Jacksonville. He's getting all the targets in the world right now, just not producing with them yet. Terry McLaurin at number 27. Would like to go a little bit higher with Terry McLaurin against Tennessee, but what exactly is this offense going to look like with no Jahan Dotson? Do they try running the ball a little bit more? Who else do we get kind of integrated into the offense? Logan Thomas, I think, could be a producer this week, so Terry McLaurin is a little bit lower for me. Tyler Lockett going up against New Orleans. Again, a tough matchup for him. Curtis Samuel, again, I've got just a little bit. This is a really good matchup. If you've got Curtis Samuel or Terry McLaurin, you're starting them more than likely, at least in your flex, over a majority of the running backs that you would probably ask me about. Good matchup. Potential is there for lots of volume. What is the ceiling? What does the offense look like? And dear God, can we protect Carson Wentz? Because if they can't, it doesn't really matter. Jerry Jeudy at number 30 against Indianapolis. Saw him score last week. He's hopefully feeling a lot better right now in that offense, again, taking a step forward. Juju Smith-Schuster, we're giving away an autographed jersey of his right now. Make sure you sign up over at Pristine Auction. Going up against Las Vegas on Monday Night Football. Definitely like this opportunity for him. Good matchup. I think he bounces back this week. Allen Lazard, he's a guy that, yes, still seeing targets, but Romeo Doubs is the guy. I almost said the Doubs again, and some of you hate me when I do that. Romeo Doubs, again, is the guy that is running the most routes, seeing the most targets. He's the guy out there, the most plays right now. So Allen Lazard, in a good matchup, I like the potential, but Doubs is still number one for me. Adam Thielen, we're getting him integrated a little bit more. The only reason I've got the ceiling a little lower on him this week is because if they get out to a big league and they run the football. Garrett Wilson at number 34. Would like to go higher with him against Miami, but I've got him and Elijah Moore here at number 34 and 36. A guy like Corey Davis, he's just outside the top 36 for me right now. Again, it has to do with how is Zach Wilson feeling? All right, that's number one. Number two, what are we doing, with Tyler Conklin? Is he going to continue to be a difference maker? Number three, they're going to spread the ball around an awful lot. So again, ceilings are still there for the guys, but we're being very careful with them, knowing that there's still some question marks about how that offense will develop. Robert Woods makes his introduction into the top 36 for me this week. No, there's going to be no Traylon Burks this week. Hopefully a lot more targets for Robert Woods going up against Washington. And then just mentioned a minute ago, Elijah Moore going up against Miami, just bringing that ceiling down a little bit for him. Few guys that are just outside the top 36 right now that I want to hit on. Isaiah McKenzie, he was knocked around a little bit. I thought, based on some of the reports I read, that they thought he would still be able to go this week. It's looking less and less like that right now. We'll continue to monitor that. If Isaiah McKenzie does not go this week, Gabe Davis will go into the top 36, and he will be a start for me this week. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Josh Reynolds, both guys questionable right now for the Detroit Lions. Both of them are guys that I have as starts if they end up playing. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a top 12 option if he plays. Jacoby Myers, still questionable right now, did get in limited practice on Wednesday. Keeping an eye on him. He would be a start for me against a Detroit defense. Absolutely. Devontae Parker with him. He's just outside the top 36 going up against Detroit. Keenan Allen is looking more and more doubtful this week. So is Michael Thomas. Both of these guys have not been able to get a practice in, and they're not looking in good shape right now. So I'd expect both of those guys to miss in week 5. Now let's move on to the tight end position here and talk about my top 16 at tight end, top 18. Do I do top 18? Whatever it says on the screen. Taylor knows. Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, 1 and 2. Dallas Goedert going up against an Arizona defense that allows tight ends to just do whatever they want for the most part. I mean, who wouldn't want to do whatever they want with a tight end? Moving on, number 3, Dallas Goedert again. Love his opportunity against Arizona this week. Tyler Higbee at number 4 going up against Dallas. He's the number 2 option in that offense right now. It doesn't matter what the matchup is for him. If you're the number 2 in the option, if you're the number 2 option for the LA Rams, we got to get you into our lineup weekly. Darren Waller going up against Kansas City. We've seen his ceilings fall a little bit. It was something I warned you all about in the offseason. Hopefully he gets things going soon. Zach Ertz going up against Philadelphia. Philadelphia's defense a little bit better against tight ends than what Arizona is against tight ends, but he's still a top 6 option in a start for me this week. TJ Hawkinson, he is a guy, yes, still listed as questionable right now after last week. Expect him to play going up against New England, especially if the other guys miss. He's going to be a big option in that offense again, but we've seen it with TJ Hawkinson in the past. The dude will have a huge game and then he will disappear for stretches. He's like a more highly drafted version of Evan Ingram. Has big games and then he disappears. David Njoku at number 8 isn't scoring a lot right now. Obviously, he's got the 1 touchdown a couple weeks ago. Scoring, we'd like to see a little bit more, but the volume is there. He's getting the targets. He's the number 2 on this offense right now. Gerald Everett at number 9 going up against Cleveland. Another good option for you, especially seeing as no Keenan Allen is going to be around this week. George Kittle got him a little bit lower, a little bit of a tougher matchup, but could see him bounce back this week. I could see him going as high as number 6 in the rankings. Pat Fryer Muse going up against Buffalo. Looks like he might be the guy for Kenny Pickett. In a tougher matchup against Buffalo, I've got his ceiling a little bit lower, but if he is the number 1 for Kenny Pickett, that's going to be great for our tight ends the rest of the season. Kyle Pitts at number 12. Some of you aren't even going to want to start him, and I absolutely get it. But the volume that he receives, he is top 24 in terms of targets to tight ends. Actually, he's top 12, in terms of targets to tight ends. Because of that, you've got to have him in the top 12 because the opportunity is there. Tyler Conklin at number 13. I mentioned it a minute ago when I was talking about the Jets wide receivers. For Tyler Conklin, how are we going to see him continue to be integrated into the offense, knowing that Zach Wilson might not look his way as much as Joe Flacco did? Logan Thomas at number 14. I like his opportunity this week. A good matchup for him. No Jahan Dotson. Ceiling won't be really high for me. Don't know if he'll get a ton of volume, but scoring opportunity will be there. Hayden Hurst at number 15. Also going to be a start for me this week. He continues to be utilized. Yes, his targets are dropping every single week, but a defense like Baltimore that's very inconsistent, if they're able to hold Jamar Chase down to begin the game, we see Hayden Hurst with a few more targets, and then Jamar Chase starts to wear him down. Now we see Jamar Chase come on towards the end of the game, and Hayden Hurst disappears at that point. Dalton Schultz is going to be at number 16 for me. Been banged up, obviously. Tough matchup potentially against the Rams. Cooper Rush doesn't look his way as much as we've seen a guy like Dak Prescott. That's hurting his value right now. Dawson Knox is a sit for me this week, and Robert Tonyan is a sit for me this week, but both of them make themselves into the top 18 tight ends. I like the opportunity for both of these guys in terms of maybe scoring a touchdown, but volume dependency just is not there, and that is the reason that we're going to sit them. But hey, there you have it. All of my rankings for wide receivers and tight ends. Good luck to everybody this week. Get those lineups set before Thursday Night Football. Let us know down in the comments if you got any questions. If you've got flex ranking questions, though, become a member. It's only $5 a month. Just jump in, try it out for a month, see how you like it. But appreciate everybody. Stay safe and healthy, and I'll catch y'all on the next episode of the Fantasy Headliners.